Thank you for tuning into the L. Henderson Real News Show, issues, views, and solutions. The L. Henderson Real News Show is designed for you to listen, learn, and invest your knowledge and skills in your community. The show's format will be clear and direct. Each show will identify a problem. It will determine who benefits from the problem. The show will also determine who is the victim. And finally, we will show you how to create a prioritized action plan for success that can change your life, family status, and community in 30, 60, 90 days guaranteed. The L. Henderson Real News Show will identify, address, and teach you how to resolve problems in education, economics, politics, religion, community development, and local, state, national, and international affairs. So I want you to stay tuned for the L. Henderson's Real News Show. Hello, viewers. This is Eldridge Henderson from the L. Henderson Real News Show. Part of being successful is dressing for success. This is why I want to tell you about Pennywise Cleaners, who's been serving the Southwest Jackson community for over 3 years at 4590 Raymond Road in Jackson, Mississippi. Pennywise delivers friendly service with a smile. Whether drop-off, drive-through, or delivery, Pennywise has got you covered. All work is done on-site using state-of-the-art equipment to keep you sharp and clean. A penny saved is a penny earned. At Pennywise Cleaners, located at 4590 Raymond Road, Jackson, Mississippi. For more information, the number is 601-372-0097. Pennywise Cleaners is a proud sponsor of the L. Henderson's Real News Show. Hello, viewers. This is the L. Henderson's Real News Show. Today, I can assure you we have something that you need to know about. And since I know the viewers need certain information at certain times, I have a tax professional with me today, and she is going to tell you everything you need to know about taxes, how to pay less taxes than you owe. And the good news is that you can pay no taxes and pay it late and accept a penalty, of course. That's what it is about. That's all it's about, ladies and gentlemen. Paying taxes. And today I have Miss Gwen Swift, who is here today from Jackson, Mississippi. She is a retired IRS specialist, and she is here today to tell us what we need to know. So Miss Swift, I want you to tell us how long you've been in the tax profession, privately and publicly.
Well, we started the company a little over a year ago, but prior to that we were working in the IRS tax office for several years.
Okay, you're saying we, so it appears that you have some partners working with you here in Jackson, Mississippi?
We hope.
We hope. Okay, well that's great. I do know you have some partners. I don't know why you don't want to talk about it. But I want you to tell the listeners something about the importance of doing the taxes and having all the proper documents when they come to you, and not set 2 or 3 appointments and bring 2 or 3 things at different times. What is the best process a potential taxpayer need to go through when they come to you the first time?
Okay, first time you come, of course we make an appointment with you, and you need to bring identification, social security cards for all of the dependents you're carrying. And also, you mentioned something about how important are taxes. Taxes are important in everybody's life. I mean, you may not think so, but taxes affects every person in the United States' life at one point. And it can also keep you from doing those big things that you want to do, like a house, start a business, buy a car. It just get money for school. If your taxes are not together, then you're going to have a hard time.
So you are just advising the potential clients to prepare the tax papers before they leave home, get all the identifications they need, and call you first, of course, and I bet you will tell them specifically what to bring. Am I correct?
Yes, I would.
And that'll save a lot of time.
Yes.
Now give us an example of some instances where you've had people to come to see you and some of the problems that happen because they didn't have the necessary documentation. What has been some of your testimonies about that regard?
First of all, you can't file returns without identification. And a lot of people will come in and say, well, I don't have my Social Security card. I lost it. Well, that's a bad sign right there. But you can go to the Social Security Administration and they will give you a transcript of your Social Security card. You cannot file taxes without a copy of your Social Security card, your spouse's Social Security card, or your dependent's Social Security card. And we must have picture IDs of the taxpayer himself, his spouse.
Well, Miss Gwen, now I don't know whether you are being straightforward with it. I know people that are doing taxes and they don't have an ID. They take what you give them as far as the Social Security number, and many bring names of their children and others and say, these are my dependents, and they don't have all the documentation, and they've been getting their taxes done like that for years. These guys and ladies that are doing this usually just work from January through April the 15th, but they've been getting away with this for years. Now, is this illegal or what?
This is something that the IRS has put a stop to. We can't accept any returns. My office can't accept any returns if I don't have a ID to go with it and the Social Security cards of those dependents. First of all, that's going to throw up kind of like a red flag to the IRS in the first place. You know, here you are, certainly you bringing in people that you never claimed before. And it's, a lot of people mistake dependents. They don't know the meaning of the word dependent, okay? And people can promise you, it's a lot of places that will promise you they can get you so much money back, when in reality, they're only gonna get you back what you deserve.
Well, I do notice on some of the little paper stands that you see in the various stores, they say if you have 5 dependents, 3 dependents, you can get so much in return, $2,000 or $3,000, but you don't do that because you say you have a rule of law that you follow and you want to do it right the first time.
That's
Am I
correct.
Okay,
That's
now
correct.
tell me this, Ms. Gwen. Now, how can the taxpayers determine who their dependents are? You say they bring in a lot of folks, and sometimes it's not the correct or the valid dependent. What is the best way to determine whether one is a dependent?
I can determine that by the information you give me, okay? But if it comes down to you being pulled for an audit, say, as an example, what you give me, I will put on your return, but I'm gonna ask you for some certain things too, okay? Like, how long did this person live with you? Or were you their sole provider for a certain amount of months out of the year? Did they live in the same house with you? Or did they live in a different house, but you still provided them with their needs? Everybody is not your dependent. The government has rules on who can be considered a dependent for you, okay? And by you coming into my office, I'm gonna take you through a set of questions.
Okay,
That's the first thing I'm going to take you to a set of questions. You say, I got these dependents here, and I got their Social Security cards, and I got this. But I'm going to ask you some specific questions.
Referencing what you already indicated a few minutes ago. That's great. Well, I want to know about these back taxes. I know some people now that have not paid taxes in several years because they owe a big balance. Is this a good way to solve your problems by waiting several years? I do know and heard that there are some penalties. What else is involved when you don't pay your taxes on time?
Depending on how much you owe. You could possibly go to jail, lose your property, lose your job, lose your income. I mean, taxes affect you whether you want them to or not. But as you were stating about the back taxes, it's never a good time. You should file your taxes every year. If you had any income for that year, you should file no matter what. It used to be an old saying, if you're not sure, then you need to ask someone, okay? Don't hear it off the street. I didn't pay no taxes. That's what I was told on the street. But see, the IRS look at you, and I don't represent the I don't represent the IRS in any way. This is my company, okay? That Azura High Tax Prep try to follow the laws of the United States government and Congress has put forth for taxpayers. And people will say like, well, I was told I didn't have to file taxes. Don't ask people. Go to the source. Ask the government. You can call it. They have numbers. You may not get anybody online right away, but you have to keep calling if it's important to you. And you shouldn't let your taxes go unfiled, period. There is no limit. First of all, you run the risk of owing. If you owe, okay, that's fine. It's not fine for the person who owe, but what I'm trying to say is, don't hide from it.
Well, let's look at it this way. We know that sometimes you might owe $40,000. You don't want to pay the $40,000. You file late. I think what do you call that term that you say that I'm going to delay my taxes and do it later?
That's an extension.
An extension.
Once that extension expires, the government or the IRS assume that you will file those returns. But a lot of people still don't do that. And that doesn't, even if you get the extension, it doesn't tell you, it's not saying to you that if you owe, that they're not going to be charging you every day, and they charge you interest every day on a balance. You can start out with $50, and if you don't pay that $50 in 4 or 5 years, that might be $5,000.
Okay, Ms. Swift, we are going to get ready for a break, but before we do, I want to talk about the fact that some people have an opportunity to go from job to job, and they forget to get that W-2 from a previous job. They start the new one, and they only use one source of income. Now, what are some of the legal ramifications that's in a negative manner that they will have to deal with if they forget to do this on several occasions?
Well, all companies report income to the Social Security Administration, and the IRS receives that same information. So whether you filed a return with just one W-2, but you knew you had 2 or 3 out there for that same year, then you would need to amend that return.
Okay, that's what I wanted to find out so the listeners will understand. You can't easily beat the government just because you think you're not turning in something. They already have it, and that means they're going to pay later one way or the other, and usually it's going to be a penalty involved, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's going to be a failure to file, failure to pay penalty. And these are, as I stated, they are like the percentage on them. You don't want to not pay your balances due. It's just outrageous. It's best to just go ahead and pay what you owe and be done with it.
Okay, well, you're going to take a break, and I tell you, I want you to start thinking about auditing. I know that some people are going to be getting audited from time to time. What is the best way to prepare not to be audited? And I also want you to talk about what this earned income credit is. Stay with us, viewers. In a minute, we'll be back with Miss Gwen Swift, a professional tax preparer right here in Jackson, Mississippi. The Action Leadership Institute has office space for rent at North Jackson off I-55 South at 5435 Executive Place Office Park, located in a high-traffic count area. There are 4 offices available, 1 office space, 650 square feet, 3 offices, 150 square feet each. All are available today with first month free and deposit. Ideal spot for established businesses and startups such as law and tax offices, insurance companies, boutiques, counseling centers. Again, the address is 5435 Executive Place Office Park, shown by appointments only. The number is 601-201-1957. Thank you, viewers, for staying with us. We have Miss Gwen Swift, a professional tax preparer, with us, and now we're going to ask her to tell us about this auditing that is taking place all over the world, and especially in the United States. I understand that many people are audited 3 or 4 times during their lifetime, and there are others never get audited. Now, what is the difference there? Because folks need to know this.
Okay. The reason people get audited is not because they've done anything. A lot of times they have the system, the way it's set up, it'll kick it out for an audit. Okay. And the system, as I said, that they have, it will kick out certain returns. I've heard a lot of people say that, well, I never got audited before. But you see, the United States government and IRS can audit you as much as they want. Okay, if you get your first audit, I mean, it's nothing really to panic about. Just come to Azura High Tax Prep with your notice, and we can walk you through it and tell you what's going on, so there's no fear there. Okay, but the audit is basically, the IRS has kind of like cut down on a lot of things where they used to didn't do. You could go for years and never be audited. But now it's like, yeah, we're gonna take a look at every return that computer goes through, but the computer will automatically kick out certain returns.
And that's when they call those folks. First, they're going to send them a letter and say, we will come and see you eventually.
The IRS never calls.
They don't call anymore?
No.
Well,
No.
I understand a lot of people are getting calls from IRS. That must be a
IRS
fraudulent
never
attempt.
calls.
Never call.
No. They send out notices. They will not call you. Now, if you call them, they will call you back. But they never call you.
Okay.
They send out the notice. And a lot of scams are out there.
Well, that must be what it is, because I've had clients that tell me they had talked to IRS. They told them they needed certain information, because we will give you a discount if you give me some information so we can get your files together. And that is illegal, I would say. Wouldn't you agree?
Henderson, you just struck a nerve when you said that, because that's the problem with people. Sometimes they get so scared that they will give out their information. We have a big identity theft crisis going on in the United States at this time. People are taking that's because they allow fear to take over, and they want a big refund, you know, without actually being due that refund. And that's how people identity gets stolen. We were so swamped at one time that with identity theft issues. What I'm going to tell you is that the best way to keep your identity safe and to not have any surprises at the filing season,
Right.
when people go in to file a return, guess what? It's already been filed for them. And they have to find out what is going on, because they're saying they didn't file a return. That's because I'm not saying everybody does it, but I'm just saying certain people are on the prowl for people who are not careful with their information.
Okay, so, and that's why a lot of times, you know, they pick on these senior citizens because they want to enhance their income from time to time. And when they hear of a good opportunity, they want to take advantage of it, especially when they get past 65.
Yes.
Many are retired and they know that something got to happen.
Yes.
When one gets 65 and they hear about all these schemes, would you think it'd be best for them just to call someone like you and say, I need some advice, someone wants to give me a big discount if I give them some information, or just go on and not do anything about it? What would you prefer them to do if they want safety?
I'm sorry, I would prefer them to call me, but they can also call the IRS if it's something that they are not sure of. And we can't let that dollar sign blind us, because that's what the scammers are hoping will happen. That you will think more about that possibility of getting that money. when their intentions are not in your, being in your favor. They're trying to scam you. So next year, they got a fresh Social Security card number, they got a fresh birth date, they got a fresh name that they can go in and put in a tax return and deprive you and the American citizen of money that don't belong to them.
Okay, well, that's a good thing for our viewers to listen to, folks. They need to know about this. But let's look at something else that is very important. And that is a lot of people I know that get in $5,000, $6,000, and $7,000 and $8,000 back every year, and they don't make but $5,000 or $6,000. And I understand that's something called tax credit, and that's what some people buy these new and used cars with, and go to the boat and gamble with that extra money. Now, explain this to our viewers about this tax credit and how some of the people that are not making very much money can get $3,000 to $5,000 or $8,000 every year.
Well, Dr. Simmons, I'm just going to say a few words on that. But mainly, we don't like to give too many off the top of our head answers to questions because we do our research. We want to make sure that we give our clients the best and up-to-date information that is out there on the IRS website. But there are several credits. I'll touch on the earned income credit. Earned income credit is when you work, but your income falls into a bracket, a certain bracket. And if that bracket is low, whatever they've set as the cutoff point, then you may qualify for some earned income credit. Then there's the child tax credit. I'll talk a little bit about that.
Okay, let's
The
share
child
that.
tax credit is where parents get a credit for their dependents, their children. Okay. But that still entails research. Okay. There are a lot of people that go out and work and make a little bit of money, but because they have these credits set aside for working parents, they're able to cash in on the credits.
Okay, well, there's something else that a lot of people are dealing with, and I'm guilty of this myself. Every month or two, I take various items to Goodwill and the Salvation Army, and they give me a receipt saying furniture, clothing, and other items, but they don't put a price on it. And I think it's my responsibility to put a price on those items, or am I wrong about that? Explain that to the listeners, because many people do that, especially here in the state of Mississippi. There are some good folks here, and we like to give back.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
You can do an estimate of what you think the items that you donated cost with depreciation. Depreciation is when you've had something for a while, okay, and it's no longer new. So say you have a sofa, still in good shape, still can be used, but it has depreciated because it's not brand new. And you take it to a local charity and they give you that slip. Then it's left up to you to estimate what you think that sofa is actually still worth.
Okay, so at that point, I tell you, it looks like that's a good thing to do then. You give away a lot of items, help someone, give a fair price to it. And is there a deadline for turning in this kind of information?
Usually you turn it in on the return.
On the return.
The year that the return is being filed.
Okay.
And the year that you sold it. The year that you sold it should coincide with the return year.
So you're saying there's no way to just go and find those old slips and put them with the current year, and it was 2 years old?
Unless you want to amend the return.
Okay. Well, most folks.
But let me ask you a question.
Right.
Okay. There's something that people may not realize, but they get, the government, the IRS gives what they call a standard deduction every year. And the standard deduction is usually the amount of money that you can subtract from your earnings, meaning that that allows you to pay less money on money that you earn. Okay, and then there's the itemization. Okay, if your itemization, a lot of people will bring in their charitable givings or their donations or their church givings, all of this, and what they may have had some house repairs and all of that kind of stuff, car repairs and all. Okay, they bring that in, and the standard deduction may not meet what they have, so they itemize. Okay, but the thing is, sometimes they don't have enough to itemize, and what the IRS does is, you may have 5,000 itemized, but you're gonna get 6,000 or 6,200 or 7,000, whatever it is for that year. You're gonna get that subtracted from your 25,000,
Right.
bringing the income that you earn down. And between those two, what would you rather have? The 65,000 or the 6,500 or the 5,000?
I would rather have the 5,000.
You would rather have the 5,000.
That's right.
You wouldn't want 6,500 taken off of your.
Well, when you put it that way, I think I would prefer the least amount to be paid or taken from my
Yes.
pocket. That's right.
Itemization, people think sometimes that they're supposed to get both.
But let me
they
tell
don't.
you though, Miss Gwen, it might be best for our clients just to call you and get your information. And if you could give them your website and your phone number, I think they would be doing themselves a favor. And they would be at an advantage to deal with a professional former tax specialist like you. What is your information?
It's Azura High Tax Prep LLC and tax consultant. We are located in the Mississippi Center, and that is at 1230 Raymond Road, Jackson, Mississippi. We also have a website, and that's www.azurahightexprep, and that's spelled AZURAHITAXPREP.com. And we also have an email address you can reach us at, and that's Gwendolyn Swift at AzuraHighTaxPrep.com.
Hello, viewers. This is Eldridge Henderson from the Eld Henderson Real News Show. Part of being successful is dressing for success. This is why I want to tell you about Pennywise Cleaners, who has been serving the Southwest Jackson community for over 3 years at 4590 Raymond Road in Jackson, Mississippi. Pennywise delivers friendly service with a smile, whether drop-off, drive-through, or delivery. Pennywise has got you covered. All work is done on-site using state-of-the-art equipment to keep you sharp and clean. A penny saved is a penny earned. At Pennywise Cleaners, located at 4590 Raymond Road, Jackson, Mississippi. For more information, the number is 601-372-0097. Pennywise Cleaners is a proud sponsor of the Eld Henderson's Real News Show. Thank you for tuning into the Eld Henderson Real News Show, issues, views, and solutions. The Eld Henderson Real News Show is designed for you to listen, learn, and invest your knowledge and skills in your community. The show's format will be clear and direct. Each show will identify a problem. It will determine who benefits from the problem. The show will also determine who is the victim. And finally, we will show you how to create a prioritized action plan for success that can change your life, family status, and community in 30, 60, 90 days guaranteed. The Eld Henderson Real News Show will identify, address, and teach you how to resolve problems in education, economics, politics, religion, community development, and local, state, national, and international affairs. So I want you to stay tuned for the Eld Henderson's Real News Show.